Incredible, isn't it? 500,000 people arriving every morning. Nobody leaving. From up there, they were just numbers. Down here, they're people. Now we've got 2 platforms full. Sometimes it's hard to remember I'm a human being. I love Bombay. I love its setting, the beaches and the fishing villages of the Konkan coast.
7 islands were joined more than 300 years ago to form a trading post for the East India Company, planting the seeds of a very extraordinary future. Bombay grew phenomenally, attracting people from all over the country, unleashing a staggering amount of initiative, energy, and imagination. When new technology came to Asia, more often than not, it came to Bombay. The dynamo generating all this growth was, of course, Bombay's magnificent harbour. The city soon established itself as one of Asia's finest ports. In 1865, Indian cotton catapulted into worldwide importance, and with it, the city of Bombay. Today, it is a nerve center of the nation's economy, a clearinghouse of enormous vitality for the exchange of goods and skills and services, of shares and agricultural produce. Stretched out along the Arabian Sea, Bombay lies. A great metropolis of over 6 million people. Here at the southern end are located the headquarters of most of this country's commerce. Nearly half the entire revenue of the government of India comes from this one city. Nearby lies the great industrial belt of cotton mills. People live as close as possible, often illegally. But which is worse, the temporary slums or the permanent ones? In these tsars, entire families live in single rooms. The toilets are communal. There really isn't enough space for everyone, so men and older children sleep out under the open sky. Morning arrives, and with it starts the collection of water for the day's needs, the elementary essentials of life.
Isn't that marvelous? She's smiling. Even under these conditions, people retain their humanness, their dignity. These aren't the poorest people in Bombay. It is simply that they cannot compete for the space and services they require. From further and further north, the people come. About 2 or 3 persons a day are killed, falling off these trains. People need transport to find jobs, so they live illegally around the station. Do we really have to treat people this way? Yes, Bombay is a great city if you're rich enough. But what if you're poor? Delhi, for instance, has 16 square meters of open space per person. Bombay Island has less than 2. And this includes the traffic islands. All around, the city is breaking down. Through neglect, through overuse, through the sheer weight of numbers. The queues stretch for water, for buses. Every day the waiting's becoming more and more part of the lifestyle of the city.
The facts of the matter are brutally simple. You've got to be rich to afford Bombay. The city is really one long breakwater, protecting the harbor from the open sea. In the south, the jobs. In the north, the people's homes. Result: every day a massive flow of traffic southward in the morning, northward in the evening. Further result: escalating land prices, highest at the southern end of the city. As the land prices climb, the buildings grow taller. As they grow taller, they cost more, not only in money, but in things that we as a nation cannot afford, like steel and cement and high-speed lifts.
But don't tall buildings mean more homes for everybody?
If we look at land in a city, we find that only about a third is residential. The rest is used up by industry, transport, commerce, and other things. Now let's halve the residential space, keeping all the other areas constant. The overall circle is somewhat smaller, but squeezing all those people into high-rise buildings is going to raise the price of construction, forcing the poor out onto the pavement. On the other hand, if we double the residential areas, we will have only a slightly larger circle, but the poor will have a place to live.
People want to be where the jobs are. Office jobs in Bombay are growing faster than factory jobs. And most of these office jobs are in the southern end of the city. Each new job adding to the pressure on trains and roads and parking space. Even the pressure on pavement space. 10 million people by 1985. How will we find more space?
Offices don't work in a vacuum. They're closely related to transport and industry and finance. To shift office jobs, we must first find an area where these already exist. Across the harbour, there may well be such a possibility. First of all, we have the new Thane Creek Bridge, along which will run the national highway to the hinterland of Maharashtra. Secondly, there is the new industrial belt from Thane to Belapur. Thirdly, the new docks at Nhava Sheva, which will have a larger capacity than the existing docks in the old city. The interaction of these particular inputs could generate a new commercial center like the one started on those 7 islands over 300 years ago. Almost 500,000 people in Bombay are government employed. Every job moved will help Bombay, as well as the new office center across the harbour. Each government job triggers off 5 other jobs, forming the basis for New Bombay, the city of 2 million being planned and developed across the harbour. In 1970, government notified this entire area for acquisition. "55,000 acres of land, running from hills down to water. An urban effort on a scale unparalleled anywhere in the world today." Here, in this land, the future of 2 million people, where even the poorest must have a place and a space to live. Already a start has been made. The Thane Creek Bridge has been opened to traffic. The industrial belt near Thane employs today over 20,000 persons and will grow to over 50,000 in the next few years. Konkan Bhavan for various state government departments is nearing completion. And at Vashi, the first development for 50,000 persons is under construction.
In these terraced units, each family has a small open-to-sky space to grow plants and sleep out at night. All this housing is located within 5 minutes walk of a mass transport station, so you won't need a car to get around the city.
Opening up the harbour will bring the waterfront back to Bombay. Plazas, like the gateway, along the eastern shore of the island will change the north-south structure into an east-west one. And looking eastward, the energy of New Bombay will stimulate development in the mainland, opening up new growth across the state. Water will once again become the focal point of the whole system, providing communication between the various centers. And in the middle of it all, the island of Elephanta. An umbilical cord that takes one back 1,000 years. Bombay from now on will become a multi-centered city around the harbour. Each new centre opening up more space for the people of this city. This is a unique opportunity that involves courage and decision.
Do you think we'll make it? Do you think we'll be able to turn Bombay again into a place we can live in and work in and enjoy being in? I often think of this city, what it was, what it is. And what it could become again. That finest of things, a city on the water.